Hello everyone and welcome to the lesson today on conversational English. I hope everyone had a really enjoyable weekend. I hope you enjoyed the sun and finally being able to go outside and experience life in Paris or wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining the lesson today. I'm just going to quickly introduce our company as I do every lesson. Our name is Cercle, and we try and encourage you to speak English in your business and personal lives. So today we're going to talk more about our personal lives as well as our professional lives. So I'm going to try and ask a lot of questions today to try and encourage you to speak English and to become familiar with a lot of the common questions that you might be asked or you might ask someone if you travel to England or an English-speaking country. So first of all, I'd like to start with a quick fact to get you all interested in the lesson today. And I would like your help too. So when I read the fact, if you could give your answer, that would be fantastic. My first fact is, how many words on average do both men and women say per day? So how many words do we say per day? What do you think? You don't have to get the correct answer, but it's really fun to guess. So I think what this fact shows is that conversation is a big part of everyone's days and lives. It's very important to communicate in order to have a successful day in your work or your business. It's very important to pass information across. So how many words do you think we say every day? How many words do we say every day? Okay, so hello Elodie, it's nice to have you in the chat. Elodie thinks it's 10,000 words per day. A very interesting guess, Elodie. There must be some more students in the lesson today. Conversational English is very important, so let's wait for another student to give their answer. So when we talk about conversational, what I've tried to think about here are different questions that can be used both in the interview environment. So perhaps you're going to be talking about your work in an interview. Maybe you'll need to talk about some problems that you've been having. Maybe you need to talk about your previous work and what you've done in the past. Motivation. We're going to talk a lot about how you become motivated, how you motivate yourself and other people. We have another contribution from Ellen. Hello, Ellen, and welcome to the lesson today. Ellen thinks it's 15,000 words. You're both very close. The answer is 16,000 words per day. So that's a lot. And we're going to try and practice some English ones now. So hello, Delphine. Thank you very much for your contribution too. So as I mentioned, I think it's really important to have this kind of discussion so that you become more comfortable with your English. I think the best way to practice is to answer questions, and I can help correct your sentences and your responses. Okay, so what I need today is a lot of contributions on the chat. I need you to answer all my questions so that I can help you and that the different students in the chat can read through the different responses. So let's start talking about time. Okay, so today it's difficult to teach conversational English, especially through a computer. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. So we're going to practice our sentence structure, our vocabulary, and our ability to think in English very quickly. So hopefully this will be a very useful lesson for all of you. Also, in a conversation, you ask the other person a lot of questions. So, if you'd like to ask me a question about one of these topics, please feel free. So, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions, so you will be forming and structuring responses. But if you'd like to practice structuring a question, please feel free to ask me one and I will happily answer it. So, my first question is, how much free time do you usually have? So, these are questions that can come up in business and in your personal life. Maybe someone that you meet on holiday or a friend, if they ask you, how much free time do you normally have? They're also asking how busy you really are. Are you working a lot? Do you do many things with your family? If you're asked this question in a business environment, perhaps in your office, maybe your boss wants to know more about how busy you are. If you have a lot of work, do you not have a lot of work? So let's have a look at some of the discussions. So Elodie has written here, not a lot because I prefer to work and study. Fantastic, Elodie. So perhaps in this example, you could talk about what you study and what you work on. But it's fantastic that you have two really important hobbies there, working and studying. You've also written, Elodie, but when I have free time, I watch TV. So do I. I love watching documentaries and learning new things. Okay, we have some more responses. Chloe has written here, I used to have 3 or 4 hours of free time in a day. Okay, so perfect. If someone asks you this and you're able to answer very well as you have done, perhaps you could go on and explain what you do in your free time. Delphine has written here, I have a lot of free time because I changed my job. I think it's fantastic, Delphine, that you're using your free time to learn something new like English. Okay, really good responses. And if you're struggling to think of an answer or something to write for this question, please do read through the responses in the chat because they're very good and can really help you understand the question. My next question is, if you have more free time, what would you do? If you had more free time, what would you do with it? Here, you could answer about your work. Perhaps you might want to spend more time with your family. Perhaps you want to do something or try another hobby. Maybe you just want to rest. Maybe you work a lot of the time and it's important for you to just relax and de-stress, as we spoke about last week. So if you have more free time, what would you do? So if I have a look at some of the suggestions, I can see that some students have just joined, and thank you very much for joining. It's nice to have you here. Elodie has written here that in her free time, she would like to take care of animals in associations. Now, this is a lovely sentence, Elodie. And at my house in England, we have 2 dogs. And one of our dogs was taken from an association because we wanted to help. His name is Rufus, and we love him very much. But an excellent suggestion, Elodie, and I would love to do that in my free time too. So, what other hobbies would you be interested in, the rest of the students here? Would you like to start music? Obviously, you're all trying to learn English, and it's fantastic that you push yourself and you're motivated to come to these lessons every single week. It's difficult to stay motivated, but I recognize all the names in this chat, and it's really nice to meet people who are motivated and want to learn something new. So I think you can all answer this question and say, if I had more free time, I would like to learn English, or I would like to attend more English classes. There you go. I've helped you out. So Christelle has written here, if I had more free time, I would like to spend more time with my family. That's a fantastic point, Christelle. It's very important for people to maintain relationships and to be active in regards to these relationships. A really good suggestion. I would like to point out that both your sentences, Elodie and Christelle, of using would, is a very good way to talk about a possibility in the future. I would like to do this. I think I would do this if I could. Would is a really good way to talk about these future possibilities as you have all used. So well done. Okay, so Chloe wants to dance and cook more. Fantastic. Paige wants to help an association and learn to cook. Fantastic. Okay, we have some really interesting points, and in regards to the conversational aspect, you've answered them very clearly. Let's start talking about more work-related conversations. So obviously we're a business English company and we want to try and help you feel as confident as you can when having discussions with clients or other colleagues in English. So my first question is, what work do or did you do? This is probably the most common question you will be asked by a colleague or a client you meet. It's very interesting for them and it often branches out to many other questions. When you start working with someone, it's very important that you get to learn about their skills and their responsibilities in their job. Then you're able to understand and to learn about their ideas and their perhaps their I forget the words, but their responsibilities which could help you and your business. Are they good at working in a team? Are they good at motivating other people? Could they help you work on your project, maybe using a program that you don't know how to use? So, what do you do? Or what did you do? If I were to answer this question, I could say I am a pedagogical coach at Le Cercle de Langues, based in Paris. I could then go on and I could explain my responsibilities as a teacher. As a teacher, I am required to give lessons to students a one-to-one. I also provide live YouTube classes every day for 30 minutes. It's also my responsibility to test and level potential new students. So it's a very short question, but you can expand that to really explain and show what your responsibilities are in your company. Okay, so Elodie has written here, after my studies, I worked in different pharmaceutical industries. I was a quality assurance officer. I can imagine in the pharmaceutical environment, it was very important to assess quality and the efficacy of different drugs. A very interesting position there, Elodie. For example, she allowed the trade of special medicines. Okay, I think that's a fantastic occupation that you had because in your job you were helping people. I think giving people medicines and helping them improve their welfare and their health could be a really positive job. Paige has written here, I have a formation as an accountant, but currently I'm an executive assistant. Fantastic, Paige. So you're very talented, of course, and you have many skills that allow you to do different positions. I think it's also really good that you're learning English so that you can use your skills in another country or another position. Really interesting. Chloe has written here, right now I'm a student, but in the future I would like to become a teacher. Okay, Chloe, I wish you all the best, and it's nice to see that you're coming to these lessons and learning English. I hope you do become a teacher. Okay, and the last answer I will read is Christelle. I worked as a manager, we can say Christelle. So I worked as a manager. When we use the word like, it's more of a comparison. I worked as a manager in a clothes store, but it closed for economic reasons. I'm sorry to hear that. So I decided to take a new way or a new career path in my working life in the wine tourism area. It's fantastic that you decided to choose something you were passionate and something you enjoyed. I think it's really important to enjoy your job and enjoy your position. Okay, so let's move on. There are a lot of questions, and I feel like I'm doing a lot of the talking, but your answers are fantastic. So I think everyone in this in the chat here has written using the past tense, which is, of course, if we're talking about a job that we had in the past, is the correct way to write about it. And I can't see a lot of errors in the sentences that you have written, which is fantastic. So if you are listening, please do read through the students, each other's comments, because they're really good. Okay, so my next sentence is about motivation. Okay, so my first question is, what motivates you? And I'm happy to hear that you're enjoying the questions today. It's really fun having students like you who always contribute in a good way. So, what motivates you? So, we talk about motivation as encouraging you. What pushes you to learn? What pushes you to work? What helps you become the best employee or the best version of yourself as possible? I have seen a couple of students in the lesson today enjoy photography. That is one of my hobbies, and I love photographing nature. I think what motivates me to photograph nature is because nothing is man-made. When you look at a sunset or you look at a sunrise or mountains or the sea, it's just how the world is, and I think there's an element of beauty there. Seeing animals or seeing these natural phenomena is beautiful, and I think there is nothing more beautiful than enjoying the scenery of nature. So, what motivates you? Elodie is motivated, so you can say I am motivated. So when we talk about motivate, it's what pushes you. But if you want to describe what motivates you, what pushes you, you can start your sentence by saying, I am motivated by, or I am motivated to. Okay, so we could say, I am motivated as I want to improve the health of other people, to keep their security when they take a medicine. A really nice sentence, Elodie, and it's lovely to see you're motivated to help other people. I think that's a really nice tool to have, and it must be very rewarding. When you do explain what you're motivated by, you mentioned there to keep their security. I would perhaps you could change some of those words. You could say to maintain their health or to keep them in good health. Whereas security, we normally talk about guards who have guns who stop people from going in places where they shouldn't be. But a really good try and a really nice sentence there. Thank you very much. Chloe has written here, I listen to a Korean music group, which encouraged me and helped me to love and trust myself. That's fantastic. I love them very much, and I find their songs very motivational. That's fantastic, Chloe. And another one of my hobbies is music. I find it's very expressive. And if you're able to write music or you listen to a lot of music, you can find meanings and they can help get you through a difficult time, perhaps, or you can just listen to them to enjoy them. I do love music too, and it can encourage you very well. Corinne has written here, I want to study English because I want to understand people and talk with them. So your motivation, Corinne, could be to be able to have a conversation in English with an English speaker. I'm motivated to learn English because I want to talk and meet new people. a really good sentence there. Thank you. Okay, so we've had an interesting discussion about motivation. I have another question here about motivation. What do you do when you feel demotivated? So we had a lesson a couple of weeks ago about prefixes, and the prefix on motivated is DE, so D. This changes the meaning of motivated. So it means we're not very motivated. Maybe you feel really tired. Maybe you're not enjoying your work. What do you do to get motivated again? How do you push yourself to become the best employee or best person you can be? So I'll give you a couple of seconds to respond, but this, I guess I'm going back to the beginning of the lesson, but questions like this are useful in deep conversations and also for interviews. I have been at an interview before where they have asked this question. It could also be asked in a different way. They could ask you, what do you do when the sales are low? What do you do when you don't have a lot of work? What do you do if the results aren't as you planned? Those are all different forms of demotivation, and they can really drag you down. So how do you push yourself when you're not feeling motivated? So you can listen to music again to help feel motivated again, and music is a fantastic way to do that. It's also important to take a break and to rest. I think if you're having a stressful day, you're having a lot of work, it's really important to just relax, stop, take a coffee, and just relax. Corinne has written here that she practices yoga. She exercises. Exercising is a really good way to release stress, and I've seen many students on here writing about that before. Paige has written here, I avoid going out into shops because otherwise I spend too much, so I can cook and learn English. Those are two really important hobbies, and it's nice that you're spending the time to work on these. And cooking is an important hobby, I think, because you obviously normally cook maybe 2 or 3 times a day. And of course, it's important to have a good nutrition and to eat healthily. So that's a really good hobby to have. And I think there is another answer. If you feel demotivated, you can do or you can try a new hobby to push yourself in the right direction. Okay, some really interesting answers. I definitely have learned some more ways to stay motivated myself. Another really common topic, either conversationally with people or in business, is when we talk about goals. And now I'm not talking about in football when Cristiano Ronaldo scores a goal. That's another meaning of the word. But we use the word goal as an achievement. What would you like to achieve? We use this word in many different contexts. We can use it in relation to our personal lives. It's my goal to live in Champs-Élysées. It's my goal to learn a new language. It's my goal to have a family. So a goal is an aim, an achievement. I've talked about very broad, big goals in my life. We can also use goals for day-to-day tasks. It's my goal today to teach 5 lessons or 5 students, okay? So we can use it as a goal, an achievement rank. So my first question is, what are your goals today? So today for me, my goals are to teach this online lesson and to complete all of my classes. So we have a new student, Celia. Hello, it's nice to have you here. What are your goals today, Celia? Chloe has written here that she wants to be happy and she wants her family to stay healthy and happy forever. That is a really, really nice goal to have, Chloe, and I hope you achieve that. Okay, Celia, we primarily speak English in these classes because it helps you get used to the language. Alors, on parle en français, pas beaucoup. Je ne suis parlé en français très bien. Alors, je parle anglais parce que c'est plus bien pour vous. Alors, désolé, Celia, mais c'est beaucoup si vous juste entendre l'anglais. Alors, what are your goals today? What is everyone else's goals in the chat? I think I certainly agree with Chloe, and I want to be happy, and I want my family and friends and everyone to stay healthy and happy forever. So, Corrine has written here, I want to see my parents after the 2nd of June because of the confinement. I hope you have the opportunity to do that, Corrine. It must be difficult being away from your family for so long. So maybe that's a goal next month or very soon, perhaps. Sorry. Yes, a couple of days. Hopefully you'll get to see them very soon, Corrine. So Elodie wants to prepare her new home. Well, fantastic, Elodie, and congratulations on your new house. So here, I think in all of our answers, we've talked about really big goals and perhaps smaller goals that we want to achieve today. Okay, so good luck for your new job, Elodie. I hope it goes well. So my next question is, what goals have you achieved in the past? So this is a really important question for business and personal reasons, because if you're having a conversation with someone, you might not use the word goal as it's quite formal. You will definitely hear this in an interview. What have you achieved in your last position? What did your company achieve? How did you help your company achieve this? What skills do you have that helped you achieve this? It's a very common question that people will ask in interviews, and it tells them a lot about you. But more personally, if you're talking to a friend, they could say, what have you done in the past? What have you achieved in your job or your family or even personal life? So, what goals have you achieved in the past? I think it's also good to reflect on things we have achieved, to think positively, so we know that things are possible. So, let's have a look. So, Christelle, today I want to speak fluent English and leave for work. In 3 months in Ireland. Ireland's a beautiful country, Christelle, and I hope you have the opportunity to go. So, what goals have you achieved in the past? Elodie has written here, I passed my long and hard studies. Fantastic. I can imagine it's very difficult studying for exams, and there's a lot of pressure and stress. I'm very happy to see that you succeeded, Elodie, and congratulations again. Chloe, you've graduated. That's fantastic. Congratulations to you too. Graduating is a proud moment in someone's life because you've been studying for perhaps 3 to 5 years. To finally have passed and get your certificate is a very proud moment. So well done, Chloe. So Paige is learning English to find a new job. Maybe that could be a goal for you, Paige. And traveling to Spain, that's another achievement. We can talk about our personal travels, perhaps things we've achieved in our private lives. Maybe you have a family, you've got married, perhaps you've been traveling, you've been to a country that you wanted to see, you've learnt a new hobby, you've released a song, you've taken a photograph, or whatever it can be. Achievements are really important. So I think that we all have some really good sentences here. And if I look at the time, we're unfortunately coming towards the end, but we've talked about a lot of different questions here, and it's really nice to see all of your responses. On the English side, you've done an excellent job of making your responses and writing them. I haven't had to correct many of them, and I tried to give some influence as I read over them. So I would like to thank everyone from joining the classes today. I noticed that we have fewer students because the confinement is nearly over, but it's lovely to have the same students still here, wanting to learn, staying motivated. Thank you for today, and I hope you have a nice afternoon, and I will see you all at tomorrow at 3 p.m. Thank you very much again. Goodbye.